There we go. So yeah, so Charlie, yeah, screen sharing, that's great. So yeah, we'll get going now. And as I said, if any more filter in, I'll let them in before we pass over to you, Charlie. So this is the third of our series of talks today, which is part of LegitFit Sessions. I'm Tom here at LegitFit, and over the last 12 months, we've been teaming up with some of the industry's key figures to create a network of support for our customers and, of course, theirs. So we're fully aware that we can't offer advice and guidance in all areas of running a fitness business, which is why we've gathered the likes of Charlie here today to help you with sales and growth strategies for 2023. As I know conversations we've already just been having, sales is an area that people, might struggle with. So you'll be getting that kind of help and support today to help make your fitness business the best it can be in 2023, which is a little over 2 weeks away. I can't actually believe we're in the middle of December now, but it is just over 2 weeks away. Yesterday, for those who were here, we looked at retention with Alex from Saya. And today is going to be that real focus on winning that new business. So after all, you're probably aware December tends to be that slightly quieter time in the industry, which may give you a bit more opportunity to generate some leads and secure them as new clients. So in many lines of business, kind of sales goes very much hand in hand with marketing if you want to create that profitable business model. And that really is what fitness marketing agency do. Charlie here is from FMA. They're an award-winning agency currently serving I think just over 350 clients in the industry.
That's it, yeah.
Gym owners, personal trainers, coaches get more leads, sign new members and grow their businesses. And kind of, I think, not content with helping their clients generate those leads and brand awareness, they also help them convert those leads into long-term paying clients with sales coaching that works. That's pretty much what you're here to talk about today, Charlie.
That's it, yeah. So completely right. So we've got, as I said, 350 clients. So you can kind of see, hopefully you guys can see the map here. These are all the clients we currently serve. The stronghold is actually in the UK. We've started to expand out to America and a few other places across the pond, but the kind of stronghold is here in the UK. So 350 clients that we are currently serving right now. Is it okay just to get started, Tom?
Yeah, just very quickly, I will just go through a little bit of housekeeping on Google Meets, because I know you are going to be using the chat function today. So down in the bottom right, you've got the little speech bubble icon. I think Charlie's going to be asking a couple of questions. If you can just pop your answers into the message box there, that would be great. There's no need to kind of turn your microphone on or raise your hands for it. So just pop the answer into the message box there. Same goes if you've got any questions throughout. Just pop them there. And we'll try and pick them up at the end if there's time. Don't really need to be too concerned with anything else. I don't think you've got the microphone and the camera icons there, as well as captions. So if you are struggling with sound, you can have captions turned on. And I think that's about it. Charlie, I'll hand over to you.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Tom. Yeah, guys, welcome to this sales training called How to Turn More Leads into Happy Paying Clients. So this is a fully fledged sales training. Now, here at FMA, we actually do something called a sales boot camp for our clients, where they either come and visit our office or we come and visit them. And recently we've been to Edinburgh, we went to Birmingham, went to Newcastle to actually teach sales. And we spent a whole day focusing on sales. Now, we've only got a short amount of time, so this is going to give you the overview of all those elements that we dive into, but it's sort of a mini version of what we will do in the whole day. So we're going to cover all our kind of bases, but we're not going to go too deep into each topic. But at the end of this talk, you guys should all have a very good understanding of how to conduct a sales process effectively to get more sales through the door. And at Fitness Marketing Agency, we used to just do marketing, just run campaigns, and we'd have clients where we get hundreds and hundreds of leads at a really low cost, and it was amazing. But the client wasn't converting, and that's when we had to massively invest into sales coaching, consulting, and it's now a massive arm of what we do. So we don't just help you get leads, we also help you convert them, and this talk is actually going to help you do that as well. So just a little bit more information about Fitness Marketing Agency and myself before we jump into the meat and potatoes of everything. So hey, my name is Charlie, and I've been with the company since the very, very beginning. I was actually the first employee of Fitness Marketing Agency about 6 years ago, I believe it was. Now, back then we had a very small handful of clients. It was me and Ben Davis, who's the guy in the middle here, and we used to meet up at the same coffee shop every day and work on the business. And over time we continued to get results and more results for clients, and as a result of that, we're now at 350 plus clients. We've got a team of 30 behind the scenes. These guys here are the in-office. We've got people remote as well. So 30 behind the scenes, and we're looking to grow even more into the new year as well. Now, what we're going to cover in today's training, first and foremost, it's really important to set the context, set the tone, why you actually need to be good at sales in 2022, although there's only 2 weeks left, and beyond. I really want to drive home why this is important to actually be good at sales. The difference between someone who's okay at sales and people that are great at sales, and there's a really important distinction there. The complete structure of your sales process and how to conduct that process itself, and how to actually overcome objections. So typically at the end of the call, people will get, I can't afford it, I want to speak to my partner, let me think about it, and some other annoying ones as well. And I'm going to show you how to actually overcome those and avoid these annoying objections here. And also at the end, I've got a free gift for everyone here, and I'll send you this free gift in the post. It's a sale, it's essentially all about sales and sales scripts for you to be able to take home, and it's completely free, and we'll send it to you completely free there as well. Someone who's implemented all of our sales training, by the way, this guy's called Gavin. Now, Gavin was a personal trainer training out of someone's gym up until 2020, when he actually opened up his own facility, and you can see some images here. Now, the reason I wanted to share this with you is we pre-sold 100 high-paying clients into Gavin's small group training gym, but we sold these and marketed these before there was any equipment, before it was kitted out, before it looked like it did now. And that's a really important point to hammer home, because when you have the correct marketing, the correct sales system in place, you don't need the fancy equipment to actually get people over the line. And I'm going to share with you the process that we've taught to Gavin to help him build his business. And just to give you an idea of where his business is at, this is a post from 30th September. He made 35 sales and 5,500 up front. And it's been a record month of over 55K in revenue. He's now at 207 full-time members without anyone else on trial. So 207 full-time paying members, and he hit 55K in the month of September. So he's doing really, really well. And again, he follows our process here at Fitness Marketing Agency. Now, let's talk about the ideal scenario of when someone comes to become a customer. So the first one would be someone comes to our website and they sign up straight away without any effort needed. Now, unfortunately, unless you're maybe a bit of a lower cost service, getting people just to come to the website and sign up without us having to do any work doesn't typically work if you charge a more premium price or offer a higher level service. We've ran the test, we have the data, and unfortunately it just doesn't work. More has to be done. The next ideal scenario is your business is purely built and scaled from reputation or word of mouth marketing. Now, referral leads are definitely the strongest form of lead you can get into your business. Someone who is a friend or a loved one has said to them they recommended your service. The know, like, and trust factor is already there because it has come with a recommendation. And if we could get just these leads and as many as we wanted, then we would just do this. And just to hammer a point home, the reason I'm telling you this, by the way, is an inbound lead, which is a referral, a website lead. To sell to these people, it's pretty easy. You can get away with selling a referral without really having much of a system or a structure. It's very easy to do. You don't really need to be that skilled up. You know, if my best friend told me that one of your guys' service was absolutely amazing, 10 out of 10, you don't need to do much work to get me over the line because I trust you, because my best friend has recommended you. His trust is in me, and now my trust is in you. So it's very easy to sell to these people. But what happens when you just rely on word of mouth and organic strategies is, let's have a look at this chart, for example. We've got 100 clients. We're getting 5 new signups a month based on our word of mouth and our website, but our attrition rate is also 5%. So what tends to happen is when people first start their fitness business is they tend to get their first batch of clients through word of mouth or organic strategies, and it will get them to a certain level. It might be 100, it might be more, it might be less. And what will happen is you'll get up to a point where your attrition is matching your new client sign-up rate. And then your client levels are stuck and they plateau. And this happens for quite a lot of people, and they can't push past. Now, the way to push past is to get more leads and create more sales. And to do that, you might look to do different marketing strategies. Now, these are outbound marketing strategies. So Facebook ads, direct mail, Google ads, you actually going out to the people and generating interest. Now, if you do not have a sales process or a sales structure for outbound marketing, you're going to have a tough time. If you apply your same mechanism for the sales process you've done to referrals that you do to this, it's not going to be as effective. With outbound marketing, you actually need to have a strict and structured process in place to be able to get sales. It's a different ball game. You will get caught with your pants down if you do not know how to sell to an outbound lead. It's very different to an inbound lead. So just to reaffirm, inbound sales skills will only get you so far. To scale, you need to skill up in the real craft of sales. Now, by the way, if you're still at a point where you are getting sales through word of mouth and organic, what I'm going to cover is still going to teach you how to sell them in a much better way and an effective structured process. But just to emphasize, like when you look to scale, this is when you really need to make sure you have this. You can't get away with not having a process anymore. Now, something I want to address before we do jump into the talk right here is feeling icky about sales. And this is where this kind of audience participation is going to come here. Everyone has the chat box. And if anyone here feels a bit icky about sales, could you put a 1 in the chat box? So you don't like the thought of sales. You don't like the thought of selling people. You feel like a cheesy car salesman. You don't want to be that guy. Put a 1 in the chat box if that feels like you. So Rom, 1. Luke, 1. Some people may not be participating, but okay, another 1. So typically when another 1, amazing. So another 1. So typically when I do this, most people do not like sales. And I understand that, right? Because let's take the cheesy car salesman analogy. If you sell a car that doesn't work, then you're a bit of a scumbag, to be honest, right? That's a bad thing to do. And those people give sales a bad name. But for the same people that put 1 in there, but also everyone else on this call, put a 2 in the chat box if your service and skill has helped to improve someone's life. So put a 2 in the chat box if you can think of a client that you've served and you've helped improve their life positively. 2. Now, really, 2. Everyone should be putting 2 into the chat box right now, by the way. And if you've never helped anyone, you don't need sales training right now. You need to make sure your service is primed to be able to actually help someone. Because when you know that you can help someone, that's when selling becomes a necessity to what you can do. And that's when I can say something a little bit maybe controversial, like if you have a service that can truly help someone, you not learning how to sell or not being good at sales is a selfish thing to do because you have the capacity to help and change people's lives. There's lots of people in the fitness industry that sell a rubbish product, a rubbish service, but they're very good at marketing and they're very good at sales. Those are the people that you are competing with. You need to be able to match their sales skills and actually get them to your service that you know that can help people. So if you truly believe that you can help people, this is the main reason why you should need to skill up in the craft of sales. And once you do believe that you can help people, by the way, selling's so much easier. You have conviction in what you do. You believe in the product. And if you're confident and you believe in it, then so will the other person opposite you. But I think it's just really important to address that. So now we've kind of covered that and the reason why you should look to be good at sales. Someone, by the way, who did feel icky and hated it was Jack. Jack was a one-to-one PT from his home. Since working with us, we pivoted him to small group. He's got his own facility. He's now got 65 high-paying members with a small team. So he's doubled his clientele working with us and also just got a bit more time to live. He was doing like 12 hours a day on his own. And now he's got his own studio and he's massively managed to increase his client base. Now, the difference between lame salespeople and great salespeople. So lame salespeople focus and talk about themselves. So when they're speaking to someone or trying to sell them, they're just talking about me. This is my service. This is why it's great. This is why you should buy. Come buy my product. We do this. We do that. We do everything. We're great. Buy. And that doesn't work, unfortunately. Have you ever been at a social event where someone just talks about themselves and doesn't ask you any questions? Boring. You start to not like that person. It's very annoying. You just phase out. These are the worst type of salespeople. The best type of salespeople and great salespeople are people that listen, understand, and provide. This is super important. You listen, you understand, you provide. The better you are at listening and truly understanding, the better you will be at selling the product, because the more you understand where they're at, the better you can actually serve them. It's a bit like a doctor. If you go to the doctor and they specifically know what's wrong with you, they can specifically diagnose how to fix the problem that you've currently got. This is the qualities that great salespeople have. And this right here is the structure of how your sales process should be taking place. And there's a couple of different versions. Some people will call a prospect and book them in for a consultation. A lot of our clients that we're pushing them to do or recommending to do is they call and close them into a sale at the end of that call. And I'll go into a reason why a little bit later. But so these are the 5 stages: your intro, info gathering, pitch, objections, maybe, and then the close. This is the framework of a sales process, and you should follow this framework every single time. And it's your job to tick every section correctly before you move on to the next. If you fail to tick one, you will not get the close at the end. For the intro, you can't make a sale from having a good intro, but boy, can you lose one. So you need to make sure you're ticking these boxes correctly before you move on to the next one. So just again, you might want to take a screenshot, a photo, intro, info gathering, pitch, objections, maybe, and then the close. And we're going to jump on every single topic here and just kind of run through. But something I do want to say before this actually is typically in sales trainings, and I mentioned this earlier, people say, oh, I want to know how to get over when someone says, I want to think about it. What's the magic combination of words to let me speak to my partner? What do I say if someone says I can't afford it or whatever? Now, really, when you do the intro, the info gathering stage, and the pitch correctly and really, really well, you won't get those objections. Most people lose the sale earlier on than they actually think. And I want to focus most of the time really on the info gathering and the pitch, because this is where most people actually lose it. The goal isn't to overcome the objection. The goal is to prevent the objection happening in the first place. So how do we do that at the start of the call to make sure we're not actually going to get any objections? And of course, there's ways to overcome an objection, and I will go into that. And again, the free gift I have for you will go on more info there as well. So the better you are at listening and understanding at the start of the sales process, the less objections you will receive at the end. Like, I want to think about it. I need to check with my partner. I can't afford it. Now, let's start with the intro, a powerful intro. And again, this scenario that I'm presenting to you is you have a lead, whether that's a website inquiry, whether that's a Facebook lead, someone's giving you their number, a referral, whatever it is, you are calling them. This is the scenario I'm presenting to you. So a lot of mistakes that people make, first of all, is we live in a judgmental society, and people may not like that, but that's actually just reality. We judge people very quickly. And again, it only takes a few seconds for someone to not want to continue talking to you or to actually listen to what you have to say or find that valuable. So this part is very, very important. And what I would say to do is have a confident professional tonality, because, if you're nervous on the sales call and you're like, hey, is that Charlie? Or like, hi, is that Charlie? Like, if you don't have any enthusiasm or confidence for what you're about to sell, why the hell should the other person on the end of the phone? You want to have a good, calm, but confident tonality. Like, hey, Charlie, it's Charlie from charliehortonpersonaltraining.com. Whatever. You want to just make sure you have a good tonality. Start in that phone call. Don't be nervous. Go in, clip, but don't go too overboard. Don't be too enthusiastic with how you go. Like, hey, Charlie, it's Charlie from. Like, don't go too much, right? You want to sound like a normal person. The next issue that people have on a powerful intro is they ask a closed question, a yes or no question. They ask, like, is now a good time to talk? Have you got 5 minutes? Now, humans are, here's another thing, by the way. When someone calls my phone, and I work in sales, when someone calls my phone, I'm immediately skeptical. I'm immediately on the defense when someone calls me. I'm not one. I don't know what's going on, but there's something inside me that makes me feel a bit negative to what's happening there. So I need to reduce that barrier down straight away. But if I go in and I've got an unconfident tonality and I say, hey, have you got 5 minutes? You're like, no, I don't. Or no, I'm busy. Can you call me back? Or this. You don't want to ask, you've got a 50% chance that they're going to say no at the start. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. So what you want to do is you want to have a powerful intro, and then you want to start with an open question, and we'll go into that more in a little bit. So it would be something along the lines of, it would be, hey Tom, this is Charlie from Charlie Horton Personal Training. Just giving you a call as you requested more info on our website, and just wanted to find out a little bit more about your goals and what challenges you have right now in regards to your health and fitness. So jump straight into it. Like, you don't need to take too long. You don't need to be like, oh, how's your day going? How's your week going? Just, hey Tom, Charlie from Charlie Horton Personal Training. Just giving you a quick call as you entered more info to find out more about our 6-week program, and what your health and fitness goals are right now. Boom, like go straight in for why you're there. Like, they opted in because they wanted help. You're calling them to find out more. Just go straight into that process, and don't ask, is now a good time? Now, of course, if someone says, oh, now's not a good time, then we can look to rearrange. But let's not give them that opportunity to start with. Let's just go straight in and take control of the conversation. Because again, the pitch, the info gathering stage, the close, the objections, all of that, you need to take control of the conversation. So don't hand it over to them when you first start the call. Go in and just start. So that's the intro. The next is info gathering. And this is really where the majority of the value of what you have to offer can be found out, because people have surface level goals, and then people have real level goals. And your job is to find actually what's really going on with them. What's the biggest problem they have right now? And really, like, the bigger the problem, the more valuable your solution is going to become. And some people on the first, like, oh, so what do you want to achieve? Oh, I want to achieve a bit of weight loss. And then they move on. The reality is weight loss is a £7 problem fix. It costs about £7 to sign up to Slim World a month. And if you follow that procedure, you will lose weight. And you guys might not agree with what they do, but they do help people lose weight. So weight loss is a £7 goal. So if you're just speaking on a weight loss conversation, and then you're pitching a service that's £100 a month, £200 a month, £300 a month, or maybe it's a lower end gym membership that's $50, your price isn't matching where they want to go. They can find their value at a much cheaper level. Now, what I want to do here, and again, a little bit more audience participation just to kind of make you guys all aware, is inside the chat box, what I want to do is a little exercise here of how to really find out what the real value is. So, and we'll start with weight loss. Weight loss is probably the most common issue people come with. Obviously, some people want to get fitter or stronger or have injury, whatever, but weight loss is typically the most common thing people want to achieve. If I'm overweight, also another thing to mention, like weight loss, getting overweight didn't happen overnight, right? It took me like 6 to 12 months, or maybe years and years of getting overweight. There's something that's been going on that's been causing this to happen. So answers in the chat box would be much appreciated. If I am overweight, what's a common problem I might have? So I'll leave a few seconds for someone to answer. But if I'm overweight, what's a common problem I might have? Overeating, cool. Confidence, lack of motivation, trigger foods. So confidence is a really good one. If I'm lacking in confidence, what's a common problem I might have? Inactivity, lack of consistency, emotions. If I've got no confidence, what's a problem I might have? Have a think about that. Don't want to start something new. Go into the gym. If I'm and not to be too much of a generalist, but if I'm not confident that maybe I'm a female, I may not want to try on that outfit that I really like the look of, or I may not want to go on the beach, or I may not want to actually go on a date because I don't feel good about myself, or I might have low self-esteem about myself, anxious. If I have low self-esteem and I'm anxious, what's a common problem I may have? And this could go down to a lower level. If I'm anxious, got low self-esteem, maybe I'm not going to go for that job. Maybe I'm not going to go for that promotion. Maybe maybe my relationships might suffer because I've got low self-esteem. If I can't, feel good about me, how can I feel good about someone else? Does anyone here, by the way, know of a client that they've trained that since training with you, their relationship has got better? Does anyone know that? Just put like a 1 in the chat or a yes. Like if you know someone that relationship has improved, 1, yeah, this is really common that happens. Their relationships improve. I filmed a testimonial years and years ago. A client filmed a testimonial. It's a gym down the road, and it was this woman, and she said, before signing up to potential personal training, my life was a mess. I didn't know who I was, and I just didn't know what to do. And then I saw this Facebook ad, and everything changed. And since then, she met her partner that she's now engaged to and bought a house. Like that's what that place did for her. It wasn't the weight loss. It wasn't the fitness and the fun. Like her life changed because of what happened there. And that's so much more. And these are the levels where we need to have a conversation with people, because if someone wants to lose a bit of weight, that's a £7 problem. But if someone wants to feel more attracted to their partner and get that spring back in their step, they are going to pay a lot of money for that. They're going to pay so much more to have that surface level there. So really, again, like just to go back to this slide here, like you need to look to dig a little bit deeper to find out. Now, some of you might be thinking like, how do I do that without sounding really obnoxious, right? And I'm going to give you the 4 main questions that you should look to ask in the info gathering stage. So you might want to write this down or whatever. So the first one is, what are your goals? Which is, what are your goals? Number 2, why are they your goals and why are they important? The next is, what have you tried in the past and what's stopping you? And then, why is now the right time? So those are the 4 kind of structured questions you should ask, but you should ask more than 4 questions, because once they say like, why are they your goals? Why are they important to you? And someone might say, let's say for instance, someone says, well, I've been overweight for a couple of years and it's just starting to get to me. I'm feeling a little bit unconfident. Now, this is a great time to ask an open question. So the definition of a closed question is yes or no. Open is multiple possibilities. And they're typically how, why, what, the, and those open a conversation. So if I said, for instance, like, do you feel less confident because of this? They'll go, yes. And I haven't really got much to work with there. But I'll say like, but then if I say, how has being feeling less confident affected you on a day-to-day basis? Then they're going to open up and actually give me a couple of sentences at least. Well, just on a day-to-day, I just don't feel amazing. Just feel a bit down now, and I'm really ready to do something. So let's say someone says, what are your goals? It's weight loss. Why are your goals? I haven't been super confident. How has not been feeling confident been affecting you recently? What do you think will happen if you continue down this way for the next 6-12 months? Kind of future pace that. What have you tried in the past to actually be more confident? And why do you think that hasn't worked for you? And that's a good question, by the way, because let's say someone goes to a gym and then you tell, at the end, often some people get this objection of like, oh, I can just go down the gym and do the same. But if you figure out why they haven't actually been able to achieve that in the past and they've already been to a gym, you've established that that's an issue. But again, digging deep, really find out what is going on with their kind of pain points there and really understanding them. Because again, the better you understand them, the better you can actually provide the solution for them. So that is the info gathering stage there. You want to make sure you can dig deep and ask some good questions, but do it in a respectful manner. And then also what you want to do is once you kind of dig deep to find a problem, you then want to start focusing on the goals. So like, what do you think things will look like if you were able to achieve X, Y, and Z and you felt more confident? Well, I think I feel better around my partner and feel better. And what would that do for you? Oh, well, yeah, and then what would that, so you can go down, but you can also go up with these questions. You can take the problem down and the solution up just by asking these open-ended questions and really, really getting down to that psychology there. So that's the info gathering stage. Next is the pitch. And this is where most people make the biggest problem, especially in the fitness industry and the coaching space. And the reason why is that they put their coaching hat on. So you've done the discovery phase, you found things out about them, and then you might start trying to coach them then and telling them what they need to do. That's not what this part is for. This is just to show them how it works and get them excited about the next step. So you have this saying, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Like, you really want to make sure you keep this really simple. Another thing that people do rather than coach is they have this really long monologue with no interruption. So they'll go, and also they speak with loads of technical jargon, which confuses people. So it's like, yes, you're going to do hypertrophy resistance style training. We're going to do total body splits, and you're going to do that 3 times a week. And then we're going to have a rest and recovery day. And then your nutrition, we're going to split your macros into carbs, fats, protein, and have a certain percentage rate. And you're going to use MyFitnessPal. We'll have check-in calls and all this sort of stuff. And they don't want that at this time, right? They've told you what they want, which is, they want to feel better, look better, move better. And there's also those deeper level. That's what they want. And then you start telling them all these mechanisms that will most likely put them off. And in the pitch, you kind of want to say as little as possible, because one word could ruin it all. You could say one thing that could put someone off. You know, on this call, if I could see one of you right now, I could say something to you in one word to make you really dislike me. And obviously I don't want to do that, and I'm not, but just to show that point there. And you want to make sure that you are not overdoing it. You want to say exactly what needs to be said in a clear, structured way that tells them it's going to get them the result. By the way, the pitch should follow a structure, but you should tweak it based on what you were told in the info gathering stage. Because if one person wants to lose body fat, but another person wants to build muscle, you don't want to say the same thing. And you also don't want to sound like you're speaking from a script. You know, we do 3 sessions a week, and we do nutrition, and we have classes, and we do, like, you want to, again, structure, but freedom within the structure to weave it around the individual and what they have told you. Now, typically, the pitch will kind of focus on 3 core pillars. This is typically what most people do in the fitness industry: training, nutrition, accountability. So I would structure your pitch in 3 pillars. And I'd just be like, hey, Tom, it sounds like we'd be a good fit. Let me give you more information about the program and how it works. So the way we achieve your results, X, Y, and Z, that you've told me, is we break it down into 3 pillars. The first one being training. And what you want to do at this point is you want to feed back the info gathering into the pitch. And you want to use the phrase, you know how. So you say, you know how you want to achieve X, Y, and Z. Well, with our training program, we put you on a plan that is going to help you achieve this in a fun and friendly environment. Does that sound like that would be valuable for you? Yeah, it does. Okay, perfect. You know, with your nutrition, you said how you're snacking in the evenings and you can't stop binge eating, and you're really not liking where you're kind of at with your body composition right now. We're going to make some simple adjustments to help you make some big improvements and actually get that body composition where it needs to be. Does that sound like it'd be good for you? Yeah, amazing. Finally, the last piece of the puzzle is the accountability. We'll hold your hand every step of the way. So not only are you having fun and getting results, you're constantly motivated every step of the way. Does that sound good to you? Yeah, it sounds amazing there. And that's how simple it can be. You don't need to go into the nitty-gritty of how you do things. Now, some people may be thinking here, oh, but what if they want to know about how it works in terms of the training and all that in more depth? What if someone's a bit more sophisticated, or is it specifically in sport, like we had a chat earlier? How do we do that? And that's simple. At the end, you say, do you have any questions about the program? And let's say they do have a specific question, and they say, yeah, like, what type of training is it? And you say, it's mostly resistance-based training, but we make sure it's fun and varied, and that you leave every session with a smile on. Do you have any more questions? What people do when someone asks a question is they ramble on and on and on. Just answer the question, keep it simple, and then ask, do you have any more questions? And what this does is, by the way, you pitch everything that they wanted. You've given them the specifics that they've also wanted without giving them 80% of waffle that they haven't asked for. Because that 80% of waffle is where the sale is lost. They get lost and bored, and they don't like hearing about. They don't need to hear about that stuff. So you really want to sell them exactly what it is that they're after, and show them how you're going to provide that. All the other stuff isn't really necessary in that point. Your pitch should really take like 3 to 5 minutes. It shouldn't really take that long at all. And you said, do you have any questions? Great. Then we have the close. So people find the close very, very awkward at times, you know, and again, a lot of people lose it at this point. People don't like asking for the sale. People don't like, asking for money. They find that awkward. And what I would say to that is that what you need to do is, one, ask if they have any questions and answer that. And then you want to do something called a temperature check. So this is really just to find out how they feel about everything that you've discussed previously. Just like, okay, Tom, great. Just out of curiosity, like, how do you feel about the process that I've showed you? And hopefully they'll go, yeah, it sounds really great. Awesome. Like, how confident do you feel that if you came with us, you're going to be able to achieve X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I feel really good. Now, if you get that sort of response from someone after that temp check, how do you feel about it? Yeah, good. I would go straight in for a close right there. But don't say, how would you like to proceed? People are wired to say no. We love saying no. Like we even if we kind of want to do something, we'll always be a bit hesitant. We'll always back away. Again, just like lead the horse to water. So there's a couple of things that you can do here. You could do something called an alternative close or an assumptive close. So an alternative close would be, let's say you've got a 6-week or an 8-week program or some sort of front end offer. You'd say like, okay, great, Tom. With our 6 weeks, we have 2 sessions a week or 3 sessions a week. How many sessions would you like to do? Oh, I'd like to do 3. Okay, great. So what you're doing there, rather than saying, do you want to buy, yes or no, you're saying, which one worked better for you, 2 or 3? What day would you like to start on, Monday or Wednesday? And then, so let's say it's the session one. They say 2 or 3. They go, yeah, 3. Then you move into something called an assumptive close, which is essentially assuming that the sale is in the bag. Okay, great. Next step is we take your payment info and we get you signed up and we start the onboarding process. We get you booked in for your assessment and we get ready to go. I just need to take the address of where the card's registered, please. So assumptive close after they said 2 or 3. Don't say, oh, do you want to buy? Because again, it's a closed answer, 50%. Yes, no, yes, no. And just smoothly lead it. You shouldn't be the one creating resistance towards the sale by saying, do you want to buy? How would you like to proceed? You just flow through the process, and a lot of people will flow with you. So temperature check. How do you feel about the program? A nice one to do is like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you the program will get you to X, Y, and Z? Because by the way, when you do this temperature check, this could be an opportunity to actually find out there's something not quite right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel the program will get you X, Y, and Z? Yeah, like 6, 7. Like typically you want an 8 or more, right? Like if it's a 6, like, yeah, cool, completely understand. Just out of curiosity, like what's missing to make that an 8 or a 10? Well, I just wasn't quite sure about this. And, and then at that point you can either address it, but like, oh, I completely forgot. We do that, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. Or you at this point, you can start to weed out any potential objections and cover them, and then get them hopefully up to that level of 8 or higher. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident you about the program will help you get to X, Y, and Z? Yeah, it's all right. Oh, glad to hear. What do you think would make it higher? And then you can kind of take it head on before it comes out to you. So just to reconfirm with the close, temperature check. If the temperature seems good, then go in with an alternative or assumptive close to move on. If there seems something that's a little bit shaky, you can address that there and see if you can get that confidence up to be able to go in with the close. So make sure it's temperature check. Now, objections. This is the biggie here. So when people get objections, I think a really big thing to remember is don't go in for like an argument, a confrontation, or anything like that. I've heard people, someone said, oh, I can't afford it. And I've heard someone on a recording call, well, if you give up Netflix and stop smoking and drinking, you can afford it. And it's like, the person doesn't really want to quit Netflix or stop drinking at this point in time, right? Like, that's not a good thing to do. So don't try and go head on with them, because as soon as you create a conflict within that sales process, unfortunately, you've probably lost the sale. What you need to do is assess the situation. You will either have, and what I mean by that is figure out what's going on. So you have a certainty-based objection or a logistical-based objection. An example for a logistical-based objection would be like, yeah, it sounds really good. I'm just going on holiday for 2 weeks. Can I start then? Now, what I would do at that point is, again, assess the situation, and I would go back in with a temperature check. And I would say like, hey, yeah, sure, no problem at all. Imagine if you weren't going on holiday, would you be up for signing up now? Like, yeah, like super in. Like, put the holiday aside a second, how do you feel about the program? If you weren't going on holiday, would you be starting sooner? Yeah, like I love it. Just want to go on holiday, blah, blah. So now you know that they have the certainty that they want to buy, but it's actually a logistical problem. And then we can come up with some sort of creative problem solving kind of idea, which would be, okay, great. What we can do is we can get you signed up now and we can start you off later. This means you lock in your space. You can go on holiday and enjoy it and eat as much as you want and know that when you come back, you're going to start a healthy new habit. Sound fair enough? And then they might come back with like, oh, I just want to pay later because I'm going on holiday. No problem at all. When I say get you signed up, we'll just take your payment info and schedule it to start then. So we lock you in without any payment, meaning you can come back. Sound good? And then they should, and if they are actually certain, then they will go for that. Now, obviously, if they were still resisting at that point, they're not going to be certain. Then they have a certainty problem. And certainty is very different to logistical. So certainty means that you have failed to provide enough value or trust that what you have is going to be right for them. So you need to make sure, and by the way, the best way to overcome a certainty-based objection is to not have it in the first place. Again, to really focus on that pitch, the pitch and the info gathering stage. You don't want to be focusing on that real section at all. And they're quite hard to overcome at the time, but not impossible. Logistical are pretty easy. You just need to know the right thing to say. Like typically speaking, if it's, I need to think about it, that's more just like a certainty based objection every single time. And there's a few ways to actually overcome that. But really you need to assess what it is. And the framework I would give you, whether you get a certainty based objection or logistical, is like, let's say like, oh, I can't afford it. Okay, no problem. Money aside a second, how do you feel about the program? And if they go like, yeah, I really, really love it, I just can't afford it right now, then you know that's logistical. But if they go, yeah, it seems all right, I just can't afford it right now, then you know there's something else going on and you can start to do a little bit of work to find out what's going on there. A nice one, by the way, is so a client did this the other day. So he said, yeah, it sounds really good, I just can't afford it right now. I said, and he said this, when will, he said, no problem. Just out of curiosity, when will you be able to afford it? And then he said, oh, at the end of the month, I get paid. And then he went, okay, great. I'll get you scheduled in for then, and we can get you signed up, and we'll even start you a little bit before. Sound good? And she was like, yeah. Then she signed up, and she's still there now. So like, don't take I can't afford it as a no, because right there, that was a real logistical solution that actually helped get the sign up there, which was great. In terms of more actually what to say with I need to think about it, this and that, let me just show you this. I'll show you, give me 2 moments here. So this gift that we have all for you here, so you can scan this right here, top 10 sales objection books and flowchart. So this will actually give you the specific wording of what to say and how to figure out what to do when you do give those objections. So rather than tell you now and you write it down, we'll send this to you in the post. You have a physical copy. So when you are on the phone or you are doing something, you can literally have it there and you can know exactly what to do. So go ahead and scan that. I'm just going to quickly flick back to just this section here, like the biggest mistakes we see that is losing you sales. And what I would say that this is lack of consistency. Most fitness business owners have a big lack of consistency when it actually comes to just calling the leads or following up. People have probably had on this call a consultation that didn't show up and they just gave up. Oh, they're not bothered. When actually life gets in the way. Like just to give you an example, I signed up to jiu-jitsu the other day and I was really up for it, really excited. And I came into work, absolutely slammed, people ill, busy, and I can't go anymore. And I cancelled it. And they didn't follow up with me again. I'm actually really up for doing it. I just had to cancel it because I've got something in the way. And I think as a fitness business owner, sometimes we assume that they're just not interested. The biggest mistake is just following up. You've all probably got leads inside your database right now, but if you called, you could get some sales through the line. The more time you call people, the more sales you will make. Someone else, by the way, who has kind of followed that or had that mistake and overcame it is Dom, owns Baseline Fitness in Swansea, has over 200 members now. This is his stats this time last year, actually. So he spent like 700 ads, got 168 leads, converted 30%, upfront cash was 8K, and he usually converts about 85 to 90 members. And since then, he's got over 200 members in there as well. Yeah, again, guys, this ebook is for you guys completely free. I'll leave it on screen here so you guys can kind of go ahead and just scan that and opt in for that. And that's everything for this talk specifically. Again, I've just kind of covered the basis on some of it. Does anyone have any questions for me at all? Does anyone want to ask anything? No worries if not, but if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. You can unmute if you like. No, it seems like we're all good. Amazing. Guys, let me just go back to this section here again. If you have yet to scan it and actually would like to get a free copy of the book, go ahead and scan that code in right there. And guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys, there's something that you guys have taken away. Again, we could probably go into every topic for hours and hours, but I want to kind of give you the overview of the sales process. And yeah, that's everything from me. So yeah, Tom, I'll just give it back to you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Charlie. So much to take on board there. And I saw a lot of you taking notes as well. So I'm sure you're able to take away some really good advice to help you attack the new year. It's worth noting, FMA, you guys host 3 masterminds a year, and your next one is in Dublin, which I know is on the doorstep for quite a few people here. So definitely worth bringing that one up. Recommend you look into it. Get in touch with Charlie or the guys at FMA to learn a little bit more. So they'll be over the well, it's in March, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. March, so, yeah, the last one was in Brighton at the Amex, which you guys were at, which was awesome. The next one's in Dublin. We've got a good stronghold in Ireland. Maybe not as strong as LegitFit. You guys have got loads of guys from Ireland there. But yeah, so we'll be in Dublin, and then we're going to be in Birmingham, and then back to Brighton. But yeah, so that's exclusive for FMA clients, but it's a day to spend out of the business just to focus on it. And we'll have about 200 people in the room there as well, so it should be pretty epic.
Good stuff. Yeah, something to look forward to. We're also going to be hosting more LegitFit sessions, as I've said this week. So stay tuned for that, and perhaps let us know if there's any areas you'd like to see us focus on, anything you need a little bit of help on. There will also be the survey going around at the end of the week, so a good opportunity to feedback through that as well. So I think that just leaves me to say a big thanks to Charlie for joining us this afternoon, and to everybody else for joining too. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place, midday, when I think we're going to be taking an even deeper dive into sales, if that's possible. So yeah, look forward to you all joining us then.
One more thing before we do jump off. And guys, thank you for your feedback. That's lovely. Someone has just said, I'm on my phone, so I can't scan it. Is there any other way to get a copy? Carla, can you message us on Instagram, and I will send you the link to there. So it's just Fitness Marketing Agency. If you ask for anyone on here, if you can't scan it, just send us a message. I'll send you the link that you can opt in to get that sent to you there as well. Yes, yeah. Sorry, Tom, and thank you guys for the feedback. That's really great to see. Come to Cork is way better. We were told this by Ryan. Said the same thing.
Yeah, Ryan's desperate to
come to Cork.
Yeah, I think that'll have to be in the pipeline later date. Definitely.
Amazing, awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming on, and I'll hopefully see you guys soon.
Thank you. Stop recording. Cheers.